But Dan, if you don't mind me coming to you on this really interesting deal that you talked to me about, I think it was a property deal that you got by walking on site. Was that how this started off? Is that the right place?
I'd love it if it was, John, but I can't take credit for this. It was actually Luke's deal, so I'll let him do the talking.
Luke, in that case, I'll come to you.
Interesting.
If you could maybe just talk us through how this happened and where it's gone, because it's turned into a multiple fee winning.
Yeah. So, I mean, early doors, I was quite keen to do the more commercial real estate, property development kind of stuff. My wife and I were in the car. We were on a bypass road, and I saw a sign, planning agreed, and it had like the logo of a developer or something like that, and some details on it, to email. So I took a photo while my wife was driving, and then I sort of emailed them and telephoned them, basically said, I've seen your site, seen the plan of permission agreed, all that kind of thing. And eventually I got an email back saying, we'd like you to come and see us. And so the site that was the site that I saw, that wasn't started yet, but they actually had just finished converting a biscuit factory into a block of 14 flats. So that was then, and I drew a lot of help really from the network on this, in terms of, I didn't know a lot about property finance at that point. I kind of just knew how to knock on doors, I suppose. But with a lot of help from, one of the relationship managers, I got my head around the product, etc., and managed to then, get the deal off them. And they said there'd be another deal as well. So we agreed a fee that would cover both deals. So I think the biscuit factory was done, it was complete. We got that onto I'll call it a commercial mortgage. It was like a commercial buy-to-let, so a large multi-unit freehold block mortgage. And I think the gross commission on that was 14,000. But then they used the money that they raised off that, because they already owned it, the block outright. They built it with their own cash, pulled 1.4 million out of it and put that towards a development. And that development required about 3.8 million of funding. So there was another 38 grand off that one, plus the 5 grand broker fee I think we charged across the 2 deals. Plus the development, that was only phase 1 we funded. There's phase 2 and 3 to come. So wow. we will automatically get, as long as they build and sell phase 1 successfully, phase 2 and phase 3 should automatically be funded by the same funder, but we'll get we'll get the 1% on that as well. Plus then they've just rung in the week saying they want to do another small development. So I would have thought over the course of maybe 24 months to 36 months, that one walk-in could be worth somewhere between 100 and 120,000 pounds as well, because now anything that they want financed, they just give us a call.
Brilliant. I mean, it's such a fantastic story, that, Luke. I really appreciate you sharing with that, and I'll kind of drop some of these things on you, by the way. But and it's one of the things that we try and do when people come to us is share best practice. There's so many different ways in which you can get in front of people and get leads. Some of it's just old-fashioned knocking on doors, which effectively this is what this was. But on the back of having the balls to do that and making an introduction, building a relationship, because the key is you've got to connect with people. There's over £100,000 in fees spread over a period of time, and you build your pipeline with this sort of connection deal. They'll refer you on to other people, and property developers are tending to look at 2 or 3 developments down the line. So it does become repeat business. So I really appreciate you sharing that, Luke. That's very kind.
Just quickly, John. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just before you move on, Luke got 95% of the story, but they also do the construction themselves. So along the way, they needed assets financing, so like excavators. I suppose that's one of the benefits of being part of a network is we got access to a number of lenders across those different products. So we funded excavators for the business along the way to support the construction of the build itself. So yeah, there's so many different kind of areas of one business you can support when you've got the lenders to hand.
Brilliant. Luke, did you have something else to add?
Yeah, only to say, like, sometimes when we use the word cold calling or knocking on doors and stuff, it can sound a bit scary. So, like, I think you've got to put it into context as well, that let's say if you're looking at a business park and you're selling something quite generic, there's a chance that the product that you're selling might be quite relevant. But if you ring a property developer and say, you don't know me, but I provide finance for property development, there is a 90% chance that they need your product, that they either haven't got it yet or they're getting it from someone else. And then it's just up to you to build a relationship so that in the future they get it from you. So I don't really think of it as like, it's not knocking on doors in such a scary way as it might be if you're thinking about knocking on doors in a very generic way of like with very limited chances of success. Any property developer is going to have a conversation with someone about the core funding for buying and developing properties.
It's a really good point. It's a targeted approach, albeit yes, it was a cold approach, but as you say, you know they're going to have a need, and if you approach it in the right way, well, they'd be daft not to have a conversation with you, wouldn't they? Why would they not have a conversation with you? So yeah, it's learning how to do that, having the confidence, and also not being afraid that they might say, well, I don't need you this time. But again, if it's done in the right way, they're likely to say thank you for taking that effort, and we'll talk to you next time. So yeah, really fantastic. And on the back of that, you can build a business. So.